Good evening. It is 6:30. I'm going to call the City of Lewisville Planning and Zoning Commission and Capital Improvement Advisory Committee meeting to order. We do have a quorum present. The first item on the agenda is to consider the minutes of the April 5th, 2022 meeting. If there are no additions or corrections, may I have a motion, please?
Move to approve. Second.
Motion by Karen, second by Sheila. Vote no. Motion passes 7-0. The next item on the agenda is for a regular hearing. It's for a preliminary plat for 7 acres Euchre containing 36 single-family lots and 5 open space lots on 7.288 acres out of the L. Bourgeois Survey, abstract number 52, zoned planned development, estate townhouse, residential district, located on the east side of Euchre Lane, approximately 420 feet south of Oak Bend Drive.
Good evening, Commissioners. Staff has reviewed the 7 acres preliminary plat and has found a list of deficiencies in the Chapter 6 regulations and the approved plan development. First, before I read off our recommendation, I want to note that the title for the plat listed is incorrect. It should be for the 7 acres Euchre. With that, the recommendation is as follows. Staff recommends that the Planning and Zoning Commission disapprove the preliminary plat for 7 acres Euchre for the deficiencies listed above and delegate to staff the authority to accept and approve the plat once the listed deficiencies are corrected. The approved plat will be brought to the chair for signature.
Thank you, Joe. Any questions or comments for Joe or the staff? If not, then may I have a motion, please?
I make a motion to disapprove the 7 acre Euchres due to the deficiencies, and then once the deficiencies are corrected, that they are brought back to the chair for signing.
Motion by Francis.
Second.
Second by Aaron. Vote now. Motion passes 7-0. The next item is a public hearing, consideration of a zone change request from Old Town Mixed Use 2 District and Office District to Public Use District on approximately 1.035 acres, legally described as portions of lots 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, Block 2, original Town of Lewisville Addition, located at 240 East Church Street, 233 and 247 West Main Street, as requested by City of Lewisville, the property owner.
Hello, Commissioners. To begin, I want to note that 240 East Church Street, which is referenced throughout the documents provided, should be updated to 240 West Church Street. It's just an error, just a typo. It has no issues regarding the zone change. With that, the City of Lewisville is looking to rezone these properties from Office District and Old Town Mixed Use 2 to the Public Use District. The zone change would provide consistency of zoning across the properties and flexibility for current and interim uses. Furthermore, rezoning will permit the City of Lewisville to accommodate the vision of Old Town as an entertainment destination as described within the Lewisville 2025 plan. Considering this, staff recommends that the Planning and Zoning Commission recommend approval of the zone change request. If you all have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Did we receive any comments for the zone change request from the public?
I'm sorry?
Did we receive any questions or comments from the public regarding this zone change?
No, I received it.
No? Okay. Anybody have any questions? No? Okay, may I have a motion then, please?
I move to recommend approval of the zone change request.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You need to hold the public hearing first.
Oh.
Karen
hearing.
caught me. Yes, I thought of that right before I didn't do it. At this time, I'd like to open the public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak on this item, please come forward, state your name, sign in. Having no one come forward, I will now close the public hearing. And now, if there's any comments or discussion among the commissioners. If not, then may I have a motion, please?
Move to approve.
Motion by Karen,
Second.
second by Aram. Vote now.
Commissioners?
Motion passes 7-0.
Sorry about that.
That's all right.
This item will appear before City Council on May 16th for second and final public hearing.
Thank you. Okay, if there is no other business, then I will entertain a motion for adjournment.
Move to adjourn. Sorry.
Motion by Francis, you want a second, Sheila?
Second.
Second by Sheila. Vote now. Motion passes 7-0. We are adjourned. At this time, I'd like to call to order and announce a quorum is present for the Capital Improvements Advisory Committee. And the first item on the agenda is approval of the minutes from the September 7th, 2021 Capital Improvements Advisory Committee meeting. If there are no additions or corrections, may I have a motion, please?
Move to approve.
Motion by Karen,
Second.
second by Alvin. Vote now. Motion passes 7-0. The next item is a regular hearing. This is a presentation of the semi-annual report for the period of April 1st, 2021 through September 30th, 2021, and October 1, 2021 through March 31st, 2022.
Thank you, Madam Chairman, or Chairwoman. My name is Keith Marvin. I'm Director of Public Services for the City of Lewisville, and I'm going to present the semi-annual report. There's quite a bit of content in here. I'll probably skip through some of it because it is very similar to what I presented last time I was here, but certainly if you have any questions or need more detail on anything that I skipped over, or if you have any other questions, feel free to stop me and ask away. I'd be happy to answer them. So this is the report actually for two 6-month periods. It is from April 1st of 2021 through September 30th of 2021. And then the second section is October 1st of 21 through March 31st of 22. We do make these reports in accordance with the Local Government Code, Chapter 395, and this does talk about progress of our existing CIAC, or Capital Improvement Program. And so the purpose of this board and the purpose of this report, as required in subsection 395.058 of that Texas Local Government Code, is for y'all to advise and assist the city in adopting land use assumptions for periodic review of the impact fee and capital improvement plans, and to monitor and evaluate the implementation of the capital improvement plan, prepare semi-annual reports evaluating the progress of the capital improvement plan, and to advise the city on the need to update land use assumptions and capital improvement plans. So a little bit of background: 1986, the city of Lewisville adopted the capital recovery fee program, and then in 1987, the state legislature adopted a Senate bill which established some changes in the program and the requirements. In 1988, the city did modify the program to be compliant with that prior Senate bill. And then in January of 1990, the City Council included the legislation in the provisions for the capital improvement plan and land use assumptions, and that we would update those every 5th year. So most recently in 2017, we did hire Freeze and Nichols to adopt those land use assumptions. Y'all may, some of you certainly remember that process. I made a fairly lengthy presentation at the last meeting, kind of walking back through that process and then actually talking about some expansion that's come out of that process at both our water plant and wastewater plant. So anyway, in September 2017, a presentation was used on was made here on those land use assumptions and population projections. And then it was incorporated into a final presentation here in August of 2018. Both the master plans and land use assumptions were presented to City Council in a series of public meetings between August 6th and September 17th of 2018, and then final approval and action was taken at that September 17th, 2018 meeting. Land use assumption and population projections that were approved in 2018 did replace a document from 2006 that was very similar in nature. The new population projections had a 2027 population estimate of 127,251 and a build-out population of 163,162, and those did include the build-out and development within the Castle Hills area of Lewisville. That annexation, you may recall, the annexation was completed in November of last year. So, well, that did add a chunk to our population. It was anticipated in those land use assumptions in that report. So, our master plan coming out of those land use assumptions was updated by the engineering firm of Burkhoff, Hendricks, and Carter. They did quite a bit of legwork on those updates. We actually had some fairly significant changes in our wastewater collection coming out of that report. I'll talk a little bit more about projects and project costs here in just a minute, but water system, so I'll talk about the water system for just a minute. The following types of projects are included in that capital fee calculation: water supply projects, water treatment projects, high service pump stations, ground storage tanks, elevated storage tanks, water distribution and transmission lines, and then of course water system planning expenses. So those projects must be associated with capacity improvements. So we spend a lot of money on renovations, rehabilitation, but only those ones that provide provide capacity improvements actually go into that capital improvement impact fee calculation. So you'll see that table below talks about the value over a 20-year project cost, and then the capacity used during that 5-year planning period. So, for example, that first line is existing water distribution capacity and transmission lines, total $34 million and some change. Of that total dollar amount, $5.5 million went into the calculation for the impact fee for this period. So that existing is something that we've already constructed that cost the city dollars but had excess capacity. So as a new development goes in where they need additional water capacity, they're using that capacity in that transmission line or treatment project that we had already constructed. So we're recovering that cost by assessing those capital impact fees or capital recovery fees. So I won't go through all those, but those are all detailed out, and there are specific projects in the back of the book that was produced as part of this plan that can summarize to those various costs. That's the Appendix A of that engineering evaluation report from that 2018 impact fee review. Wastewater side, very similar. The same thing is true. That capacity has to be part of that project that's available for additional development. Wastewater treatment facilities, that's a big one, and one of the things that I spent some time on last time is that expansion of our wastewater treatment plant. Just to give you an update on that, we are under design. We're about 90% design on some electrical improvements for that plant, and then at last night's city council meeting, we approved a $5.5 million project for the design of Aeration Basin expansion that will really give us some additional needed capacity at that plant. Lift stations and force mains, wastewater collection lines, and again, system planning expenses. And the same thing on this table on the wastewater side. Some of these projects are existing that we already spent dollars on and had excess capacity that will recover that cost through that allocation of impact fees. And then some of them are proposed projects that have yet to be built that will need to be built to support additional expansion, additional capacity for that development that's yet to take place. And again, there's an Appendix B in that engineering evaluation report that details all of those projects. Capital recovery fee or impact fee determination, that living unit equivalency, that's a single 3/4 inch water meter is a single living unit equivalency, and then it goes up depending on the size of the meter. We did determine in 2018 that the fees for water impact fees or capital recovery fees would be $2,614, and on the wastewater side, $2,724 for that single living unit equivalency. And then the table below goes through the common meter sizes and what those calculate out to be for additional fees. And then the meat of the report for today is what's transpired during those 2 6-month periods. So this information I'll go into a little more detail on. So this is the April 1, 2021 to September 30, 21. So again, that fee that was effective November 1st is continuous throughout this full 5-year period. That's not what the case was during the previous 5-year term. But in this one, the council made the decision to keep those fees flat for that full 5-year period. So you'll see that those same numbers repeated a couple times. But so during that period, April 1, 21 to September 30 of 21, on the water side, we collected $1,333,668 plus accrued interest in capital recovery fees on the water side, and on the wastewater side, $1,168,809 plus accrued interest. And that the next table shows what those are from. So 286 single-family homes, 19 commercial businesses, and 6 multifamily projects. And it does list some projects on there: the Main and Mill Apartments, Heritage Tower, and Arbor Creek Apartments. So that's that one 6-month term. The second 6-month term, October 1 of 21 through March 30th of 2022. On the water side, we collected $1,149,742 plus accrued interest. And on the wastewater side, collection of $1,019,051 plus accrued interest. And then those new construction starts, 309 single-family homes, 36 commercial businesses, and 7 multifamily projects with the Valley Ridge Apartments and the Northern Gateway Apartments. And the other thing that we have on this, you'll notice that we began tracking the Castle Hills during that term because that is the term where that annexation took place. So Discovery at the Realm, Discovery Next, and Aura Crown Center are all projects within Castle Hills that started during that, or that were permitted during or after that annexation took place. So I'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have. And if you don't have any questions, that does conclude my report. The City of Lewisville has not had any written complaints or perceived inequities in regard to the capital improvement plan or impact fee requirements. And we do attest that the current impact fee program is in compliance with Chapter 395 of the Local Government Code. And just as a note, I mentioned 2018 and the 5-year period. So beginning prior to the end of this calendar year, I will be approving a PSA with an engineering firm to revisit this, and we will have a 2023 presentation and acceptance of a new master plan, new capital improvement program, and new impact fee collection. So that's something that we'll be talking about going forward. Probably not. We may have the selection of the firm by the time I come to you again in the October timeframe, but it will be probably this time next year where we're presenting those new plans. Be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Are there any questions for Keith? Discussion? No? Thank you so much.
Well, if there's nothing else, then your next item would be to, I guess, consider acceptance of that report and recommend forwarding it to the City Council for approval.
Okay.
Thank you.
So as Keith mentioned, the next thing on the agenda is to consider acceptance of the semi-annual CIAC update report and forward this to the City Council for approval. If there are no questions or discussion, may I have a motion, please?
Madam Chair, I move for the acceptance of the semi-annual CIAC update report and to forward it to the City Council for approval.
Thank you. Motion by Sheila.
Second.
Jordan, second. Vote now. Motion passes 7-0. And the final item on the agenda is adjournment. May I have a motion, please?
Move to adjourn.
Aaron? Motion by Aaron,
Second.
second by Jordan. Vote now. Motion passes 7-0. We are adjourned.
And Madam Chair, I would just point out that we do have the minutes here for you to sign if you like
Okay.
after the approval
I will
tonight.
be happy to do that.